Hey everybody, and welcome to the Shadow Artist Experiment. As always, it is me, Josh Bell, with the lovely Gabby, who's just getting off her phone because she now knows we're recording. We also have a special guest today, the lovely Kelly. Who is,
Kelly.
I would say, the second most photogenic dog. My dog takes wonderful pictures.
Story.
He took this cute, he was so cute today. Which is really funny because we'll get into talking about the Prosperous Heart in a minute, but now we have Kelly, so we have to talk a little bit about dogs.
We have to talk about dogs.
Today, he moved a pillow. Like, I have one of the pillows that, like a decorative pillow that you put on your bed, right? And he moved the pillow so he could lay on it and chew on the toy that he was chewing on. It was the cutest thing. I snapped a picture of it. Aww. You can find it on my Instagram after this because I haven't posted it yet. So... we've made it to chapter 2.
We're on chapter 2.
We are recording a day later than we normally do, because, well, I didn't do any of the exercises until this morning. So I'm running a little bit behind on this, but that's okay. I actually went and did them all, so there's that. Do you want to start with check-ins? Because I will say I have not been as adamant with certain aspects of the daily things as I should be. Yeah. My counting the past few days has been like, it's weird because I've been aware of like I've not been writing it down, but at the same time like
you do become hypersensitive, don't you?
Yeah, it's
You're
like oh my god,
in your head all the time.
Yeah.
Everything becomes, which was what I was concerned about, is that I would get into a scarcity mindset with that. We have ghosts.
Yep.
We have a great big vagina and we have ghosts.
So, on today's topic, vaginas and ghosts.
Vagina and the ghost and Kelly.
So, yeah, I get that. That actually leads right into, like, we'll talk about more about the check-ins toward the end, but let's just go right into it because you're talking about anxiety already, and I think...
oh my gosh, yes.
And I think that's something, that's definitely something to talk about when it comes to money as a whole.
Yeah.
Last week I talked about how I really had the poverty mindset when it comes to money, and a lot of that deals with anxiety. So I have a friend who works in the financial district of New York, and he always talks about how when you have money, you actually check your account less. Because
true, maybe.
Because
I get that.
Unlike me, I spend something and it's like, okay, do I have enough money in my account? And, you know, I do, because I'm aware of how much money I have in my account, but I'm still constantly checking it, you know? I'm like, oh my God. Hi, Kelly.
And I've heard the opposite version, and I've done the opposite version. When I don't have money, I don't check my account at all. I'm scared of my account.
Yeah, I can see that.
I've had absolute account anxiety. And honestly, I'm going through that in reverse right now, because you're working with me on my swim program for summer. We're doing good.
Yeah.
Like, Josh, we're in good shape, right?
We're in great shape.
We're doing...
like, classes, I think all of the classes are almost half full. So this is a plug for Gabby Swim.
Shamelessly so.
Shameless plugs. So...
and it's March, and the program doesn't start till July. And so all the classes are half full. I'm already thinking about adding an additional... oh my goodness, look at those Kelly kisses.
I know. She's like, why aren't you talking about
class? And I'm holding on to everything. I haven't touched any of the money because I know I have to pay for summer swim, which is pay the people, pay for the pool, pay for the insurance, pay you.
Yep.
And I'm still anxious. I won't look at it.
Yeah.
I have to put the money away, too. I haven't switched it from PayPal. I'm saying way too much. Anyway.
No, yeah. But that's all part of that anxiety. Like, one of the things that's so, like...
and I haven't counted any of the summer swim money, to tell you the truth.
Oh, yeah?
I haven't put that into my ledgers. I've only been counting the work that I'm actually physically doing.
Yeah, there is a certain...
interesting.
So, yeah, there's a question, like, when you go back to counting, like, I make sure I put all my checks in. And we were discussing this a little last week, is, like, when it comes to, like, the actual energy towards things, like, for instance, I feel like I work so much because, like, anytime I open my laptop, I'm like, okay, I'm either checking an email for you, or I'm, like, just doing some of the spiritual work that I do with Michael. And it is so a little bit unnerving because it's like when it energetically, like, all of this stuff will pay off. Like I'll get the energetic return in terms of like, okay, either you're going to pay me or we're going to have, new clients.
Right.
But it's like, it always feels like I'm always working, like I'm always doing that. And so when it comes to like the anxiety is like, how do you balance that feeling of work anxiety with the money coming in? And how do you find that balance? Like I think that's what it comes down to, is like when it comes to the anxiety is how do you find the balance?
So far the counting has not created the space. And she talks about it, and this was a hard chapter for me. It's a very God-oriented chapter.
Well,
it's all about trust in God. Trust that if you're out there doing what you need to do in the world, that the money's just going to show up and arrive for you.
And I think there is a certain amount of truth to that. But we talked about that. Like I called Gabby yesterday because, like I said, we pushed back the training we pushed back the podcast for a day.
Well, it is all training. Training.
Yeah. So it was interesting when I called her, because we went right into talking about this. And part of
my dog, you guys, if you can't see this, if you're on the podcast, Josh is literally being kissed to death by my dog.
I really am.
He's just being and he's talking through it, which is amazing to me. I cannot believe that he's able to talk through all these puppy kisses.
Yeah, so when I'm thinking about all of the stuff with God, there is this certain... She actually discussed it better in The Artist's Way, I would say. Because in The Artist's Way...
God's got it. That's what she says.
Yeah, in The Artist's Way, she discusses a lot about how you can insert your own name into it. And she's constantly reiterating, she constantly reiterates that throughout The Artist's Way. Granted, The Artist's Way has also been rewritten. Okay, you gotta stop, buddy.
Okay, come here, babies. Come here, sit down. Sit. Take a sip.
So a lot of that God trauma, I guess is a good way to put it. A lot of that.
It's not even that. It's that, I guess it's trust trauma.
Yeah.
I don't trust. Yeah. And I think that the talk about trust actually opened up, I'm having panic attacks this week. Instead of it getting better, it's gotten worse. I've told you I'm walking down the street, Newark Avenue, and out of nowhere just comes this panic attack. Mm-hmm. And I have no idea. I had a panic attack at my phone because it dialed somebody that I didn't want it to dial. And I literally threw my phone, and then I'm like, where is all of this coming from?
Yeah, and I think it really does come to a lack of trust. But as much as taking it around, taking it back, it's almost, sure, she wants us to trust in God, but there is a certain amount of trust that you have to have in yourself, that you can have that hope for the future. Do you know what I mean?
She wants you to trust in a loving God, a generous,
mm-hmm.
What would really be the, I used to have a great word for this, I don't know, like God that always wants things to work out.
Yeah, and in essence, she wants you to believe that too, mm-hmm. is that things are going to work out. And that kind of optimism and that kind of hope is not always easy to come by, especially when, you're dealing with the ending of the pandemic. We discuss the pandemic a lot because it's still, very much...
Oh, I think that killed trust for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That we all began to distrust the outcome.
Yeah.
And that there is a... Yeah. I think that we've all gone through a lot, and...
Well, it's because we're new people now, I think, is what it comes down to. Does that make sense? A lot of what the pandemic did was make people spend time either by themselves or with the people closest to them. And there's a lot of knowledge that's gained from having that time by yourself.
Oh, yeah. And
granted, there's also a lot of a lot of grief that goes in that, because you're also losing that part of yourself that you used to be, because for a year you couldn't be that person. It's really funny because what comes to mind as I'm talking about this is all the bread that people made. Do you know what I mean? When talking about
We
like
baked ourselves.
yeah, and during the pandemic,
So much
everybody
banana bread here.
everybody,
Sourdough.
yeah, everybody was
Sourdough.
doing so much different things.
I didn't.
That's not true. You did the artist way, which
that's
is what
true.
led us here.
I didn't bake bread. That's all I'm saying.
I started baking. I started baking like crazy. I love baking.
My daughter still is baking. You just had cookies.
Oh my God.
They're damn delicious too.
Yeah.
I did eat a lot, gotta say.
Yeah, which honestly for you is a different Gabby than you used to be. So talking, moving from anxiety, because I think this is a conversation that's going to keep coming up as we go. Like that anxiety that we feel, especially about money.
It's a scarcity versus abundant mindset.
Yeah, and
it's the prosperous heart, and it's supposed to be that abundant mindset.
But remember, also as we were going through the artist's way, like there were some chapters really early on that are like ta-da moments looking back. It's like, oh my God, this was so hard to get through. But moving through that, and sitting with it, which I feel like all of the prosperity points at the end are all about that. It's all like, she's not asking you to spend a lot of time sitting with it, but you sit with it enough to get
feel your feels.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to
face
get
it
there.
at least.
To face it. Face it. Deal with whatever the shadows are.
Yeah.
Different kind of shadows. So before it was the shadows artist, the shadows of being creative, and now it's the shadows of scarcity.
Yeah.
Of not being enough.
Yeah.
And not enough.
And we will definitely
all those shadows.
And we'll get into enough slightly later. I want to move into talking about the shadows though, and she mentions addiction. Like that's one of the topics here. And as someone who has dealt with addiction on multiple levels, like alcohol and drug abuse, and moved and got through it on the other side, it's funny how you find yourself trying to avoid that word when it comes to anything else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
do you have any other addictions?
I am addicted to comic books. I am addicted to procrastinating. And I'm honestly, there's also an addiction to not being successful.
Yep. Got that one too.
So it's almost like the addiction comes up when you're like procrastinating, which is also part of the not being successful. So yeah, I would almost say that addiction to where I subconsciously believe myself to be involved.
I have an addiction to hiding out. I use books. Yeah. I use television.
Yeah.
I hide out a lot.
So, going with that, she gives you a couple an exercise during this chapter.
Oh, that was good, wasn't it? Oh my gosh, talk about hiding out and then figuring out how you're hiding out.
So
come here, Cal.
She has two questions. She wants you to write. Is it 10 or 5? I don't remember.
I don't know. I think it was.
It's. I think I have a problem with, and then right after you list yours,
5.
It's. I know I have a problem with. So. I know I have a problem with addiction. That was one that I wrote down. And I think I have a problem with lying. Yeah, and a lot of it comes with lying to myself.
Yeah, I get that.
Kind of keeping up appearances to myself. Mm-hmm. And that's part of, just part of one of the stories that you tell yourself.
True.
And we all tell ourselves different stories, but these are the two that very much...
It's interesting. Appearances are very... So whatever we show the world, that's not really you. And eventually, because you're constantly preparing yourself to show the world something, you don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
So you lie to yourself as much, if not more, than others. And it's not a malicious lie.
No.
It's just not knowing yourself.
But at the same time, there's this whole, the whole idea of fake it till you make it. When you're faking it and you're lying to yourself like that, you're also turning it into a reality to manifest that. Do you know what I mean? Unconsciously. I don't think you're consciously doing it. I don't like cleaning my apartment, for instance. Let's talk about that as a lie. I don't.
As I look around this place.
I don't have time to clean. I don't have time because I need to do this. It's it's going to take too long to do this. those little lies. Or
I don't even lie about it. I'm just like, I don't feel it. I wish I felt it. That's the big one. I say to myself, I wish I felt like doing this.
Yeah.
I wish I felt like cleaning. I wish I felt like writing. I wish I felt, and I can say that when you are in the act of, we were talking about momentum before.
Yeah.
And when you get a little momentum going around something, then it does begin to shift. You do begin to take action. And in that way, I tend to be on the side of fake it till you make it. I faked a lot of things in this life that have ended up creating things for me.
Like love for your husband.
Didn't fake that.
I'm joking, everybody. But so it actually goes into the next topic really well, is values. And the reason why I think that it transitions one to the other is because when you have when you have those values,
and then you do that other exercise, which is, what do you love?
Oh,
your values. And it was so interesting.
So when I read this like about a week ago is when I read it, and I texted Gabby like right away, and I was like, oh my God, you're going to love this chapter, because like I see this. And like I was talking about how much I love the chapter, because Julia is talking about how she started making a list of the things she loved as she was living in New York City, and realized that none of the stuff that she was writing down was actually related to New York City.
It's funny. I read the chapter, and I actually did the exercise when she shared the exercise. So I didn't get her results before doing it myself. Mm-hmm. And then read her results, and I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah. And her interpretation of the results. Because my list was perpetual summer, sunshine, beach, warm water, waves, wave therapy, and none of that is here.
Yeah.
None of that is here. And then Julia goes on to say, to interpret, she's writing about all these things, and then she really tries to love New York. So she starts like Carmine's Pizza and Nathan's hot dogs, stuff like,
which was all comfort food.
It was all comfort food. And honestly, my comfort food is tacos.
I made fajitas last night.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I love fajitas.
They were so good.
There's a great Mexican place across the street. It's so good.
Yeah.
Tamales to die for.
What I realized is that I have started to sort of build the life that I've wanted, and I'm more moving towards it. Like a lot of it was,
Yeah, you and Michael are getting ready to move. Come here, baby. Come here. You're getting ready to move to Savannah. Josh likes the way he looks with Kelly, by the way. He's just enjoying.
So one of the things...
She thinks she's a mountain lion, by the way, right now. A little mountain dog.
One of the things that I realized, though, is that, like, all of the things I love, I'm doing. Like, I love writing. So, I started a writing group. And then I love, like, spending time with my dog, which I was doing. Like, I love... like doing stuff with people. I do love going to like shows and things like that, but there is something about the fast pacedness of the city that I'm kind of over. Do you know, like, and
me too. That's what I came to realize, is the things that I did love about New York, I don't love about New York any longer, and I might get back to them. Yeah. But the pandemic changed that. I don't like crowds right now of people. I don't, it just, everything that and crowds of people when I moved to New York would be so energizing.
Yeah.
I would feel the energy and the aliveness, and people, and you'd go out on the streets and it'd be crowded at 4 a.m. and you could always go to a deli or a diner and grab a bite to eat, and breakfast all day, every day if you wanted to. By the way, Josh has breakfast all day, every day. She's regular breakfast buffet with Kelly, as Kelly licks him to death right now. Okay. So, and it doesn't do it anymore. I don't want to go to a diner at 4 a.m. anymore, and I don't want to be in crowds. And I think, I don't know if it's lean in or lean out, because the solitude of isolation Was that good for us? Is that good for me? Do I want to lead into solitude and to be alone more? Or am I supposed to be coming out of the cocoon now?
So I feel like that, like, this is what it comes down to, like, a lot of going back to the pandemic again, is like going back to it and thinking about all of the friends that I had, right? You know, I could go out every Friday. I would see all these people. I would be really happy to see them. And the pandemic hit, and everybody went to, like, their core friend group. Do you know what I mean?
We all went to our rooms.
Yeah, but we all went to, like, the people we kept in contact with were that core friend group. And
yeah. And actually, the core friend group changed in that some of it was Zoomiverse.
Yeah.
I developed good core friend groups in the Zoomiverse book group. And writing group, and there are people that were in, and as everything got smaller, everything also got a lot bigger. Some of my good friends now in the Mandela, I have one friend in the UK and one friend in Brisbane, Australia, and 2 friends in Brazil, for God's sakes. How did that happen? And one friend out on the West Coast, and that wouldn't have happened before this.
Yeah, and we're also, like, one of the things that I've always noticed about that in terms of the internet is, like, I, being a gay kid in the Midwest, finding those connections online were how you had to connect to other gay people, because, you know, we didn't have any gay bars. So, like, I moved out here because to live with somebody that I met online, which is what brought me to New Jersey.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Those kind of connections on Zoom and things like that, I never had the same kind of closed offness to the internet that some people do. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so when
I'm just closed off to technology.
Yeah.
And communication.
That's true. So, I think part of this becoming new people and moving, like, through all these different things is realizing what we have lost and feeling that loss. And then
and you're also leaning into, did we really lose it? Like, this new thing that I'm craving, I'm judging it, but damn, I don't want to be where the people are. Ariel, I am not. I don't want to be where the people are.
Yeah.
I want solitude, and oh gosh, I really want sand and beach and yoga on the beach and warmth.
Yeah. I want something, like, I love Jersey City, and I'm not going to pretend that I've fallen out with it.
No.
But there is a certain amount of, like, fast-pacedness that, like, I want to move beyond. And it's one of the reasons why we decided on Savannah, is because Savannah is right by the ocean, has a giant river walk, just in much the same way that Jersey City does. It's a lot slower in temperament, but it also has, like,
lots of arts and culture and history.
Yeah, but it has all kind of the same things that Jersey City has, but
it has that allure.
Yeah, it all slowed down, and it has its own identity with that, like, southern genteel nature.
True, and it is. Yeah, it's got its own Savannah-ness.
Yeah. And Jersey City does too, but it's a lot harder to...
It's cheaper. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's cheaper to live, which means that you can slow down a bit too.
Yeah.
And that scarcity mindset can ease away when you're in a place that is less expensive to live.
So, yeah. And that goes right into this idea of having a magic number. And I'm going to lop the last 2 topics together, which is the magic number and what is enough. Because they overlap. They overlap in the idea of money, and then what is enough actually permeates through everything that you are. So when it comes to, did you ever have a magic number, Gabby?
When everything was falling apart, when my life was imploding, I was like, if I can just hang on, and if I'd have, $100,000 in the bank, I'm sure that I'll be okay. I'm sure that I can go through this pandemic. Yeah. I did not. Not even close to that in the bank.
Yeah.
I came back with a fraction of that.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was enough.
Yeah.
I was terrified. I've never gone through that kind of fear in my life.
Yeah.
Like the scarcity mindset, and that might be what I'm dealing with. I don't know.
Well, I think
I was so scared.
I feel like with you and a lot of your scarcity mindset comes from having straddled that line of the wealthy as well as, you know, having things moving and you being a part of the motion versus you having to create your own, like you said, create your own momentum forward and not having the same
I think that so much of it is I had COVID and I'm still have the brain fog and the tiredness and stuff, and the body won't do.
Yeah.
It won't facilitate what I used to be able to do. I used to be just jump into everything, and I had 2 sets of twins. I said it. Deal with it. And I ran a business full time and managed a life with all of that. And now I look at it and I just get tired. And that's when everything imploded. I almost didn't make it back from Mexico because it wasn't even losing love, or it was just, I didn't want to do it all over again. And I think that that's so much, like, we have to find a new source. And that's what she's talking about here, is how do we draw from something other than that hamster wheel?
Well, and so the hamster wheel, that's a great metaphor, is because it's not even the hamster wheel, because I feel like we're not even running on it ourselves. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's more like a hamster treadmill that's just going and going and going.
And going and going.
And instead, we need to figure out how to get off
and
the
we
treadmill.
all stopped during isolation.
Yeah.
Which was good and bad because I had 0 income, and that created a lot of anxiety for me. But at the same time, it forced me to stop and get off the hamster treadmill. And, you know, I think that's it, is how do we draw from being enough?
So I feel that, like, Michael and I have a number. It's $234 million, which is our goalpost. Like, no, we do. And I honestly don't think that it's that far out when you think about it. Like, and I think that, like, this is like the golden number that everything is going to be solved. No, I think that realistically, when it comes to prosperity is going to happen, and then that number is going to come. Does that make sense? Like,
that makes sense. I think that prosperity isn't the number, though. It will never be the number.
Oh, that's what I mean. I'm not saying that denotes the number. I'm saying that, like, okay, we're going to find ourselves being in the kind of flow state of doing what we love and continuing the things that we love and appreciate and that make us feel abundance, and that abundance is there. It's just almost like waiting for us to get to that point.
No, I think that you're already there. I think, well, okay, listen to me. Okay. So I look at it and I think of the sheer terror of starting over again. And I think what the terror is it wasn't working.
Yeah.
It was broken. And it didn't matter how much money I had.
Oh, yeah.
At any point in my life.
Yeah.
That get up and function for money, for that number.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not saying, like, I don't feel like when I think of that number, I don't feel like I'm
not saying you can't get to the number.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying you can have $230 million, and all money does, I've seen it with millionaires and billionaires, all money does is exasperate the problems you already have.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like, I feel like that number is out there, but it's not like the magic number that we're running towards. It's more along the lines of, it's a number that I see in the future that I'm going to meet. So yeah, when discussing the magic number, it feels like something I have to talk about, but it's also not the same. Like, it's not the magic number that she discusses in here with that. that if I reach this, all my problems are going to be solved. No, we're going to solve our problems along the way.
I still think that if I had $100,000, it would buy me some time. I think that's what we're looking at is what is the number that buys you time? How much time do you get for that number?
I don't need time. It's the stupid thing in my own head that says I don't have enough time. I have plenty of time.
Oh, I have way too much time.
And Michael isn't
but
here
I
to
still
comment
want
on
time
that. Thank
to
gosh.
heal. I want the time that I need to heal, to get on track, to do it all myself.
But that's part of that procrastination, though.
Maybe.
And you know it. Because like you're going to need to be enough when the entire world is falling down around you, because that will allow you to be enough when everything is going great.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And things are going great right now. That's the funny thing. And I'm having panic attacks in the middle of everything going great. Like summer swim is beyond where we hoped it would be.
Because I feel like this is because you are not letting yourself actually feel like everything is okay. You're still that's.
I think it's the trauma.
The scarcity mindset is a fucking horrible thing.
It is a fucking bitch.
Because
it's a fucking whore.
Because what it's telling you is
mean ass.
I think you don't have enough money.
Sorry.
We're not all full yet.
Oh no, I know that we're gonna fail.
Oh, I know, but it's not. It's the back of your head. It's the thing in the back of your head that's saying, "No, you're not. Everything's gonna fail.
It's all gonna fall apart again.
It's all gonna fall apart.
You're gonna lose it all over again."
And that's not true at all for you, Gabby, because I know where you're at. But you're also like, I think a lot of the anxiety is.
I think my anxiety isn't even the money; it's what you have to do for the money.
Dance,
it's what you. I know.
Yeah, and I think part of it.
It's what you have to do for it. It's who you and what I did for money the last time was I gave up all of myself for it.
Yeah, and see that's the problem is that I think that's where you're so afraid of is you're afraid of giving yourself up, and I think part of it's being
ceasing to be me when I don't even know who I am yet.
Yeah, and you're figuring it out.
And so that goes back to the lies that we tell ourselves and trying to figure all that out. I've been a people pleaser my entire life. I don't remember ever not being a people pleaser. And so I don't know who Gabby is without that. You take the people pleasing aspect away from me, and I do know I really love sunshine and the beach. That's all I've gotten clear so far. Wave therapy, sunshine, and beach. And I'm still terrified to jump.
Yeah.
And I used to be a jumper. I would jump into anything.
She says that, and yet here she is doing this podcast again. And the original one we did, same thing.
I did.
It's really funny.
It was all before you. I jumped before you. I jumped into everything. I didn't think about it. I just did it.
And you still do. I just think like this is what it comes down to is like when you're talking about the Mandela group, for instance, like that's something you jumped into. You weren't secure in it. I know this because you called me and talked to me about it. Like
I did.
She was smart because I would have talked her out of it, and she did it. She made sure that she was already a part of it before. And that's but I'm not to say that it doesn't feel like it's helping you. I think it is.
It is.
And that's one of the things that like jumping or jumping into the artist's way and saying yes. I don't feel like it was you just saying yes to me. I feel like it was I really feel like it was part of your soul telling you need to fucking do this.
You need to get off your ass and do something, Mickey Mouse.
So, let's go into like all of these. I feel like all of these topics we're just going to keep bringing up in different sides every week, so we can move into the check-ins.
Yeah. So did you do it?
Okay, so
what'd you do? What didn't you do?
Morning pages, I missed a day. Otherwise, I did 6 out of 7.
You're good.
Counting, I've missed like the last 3 days, but we talked about that in the beginning. Abstinence, when it comes to credit, it's going fine.
It's going fine.
No,
it's going fine.
So the thing is that like I am spending a little bit on my credit card, but I'm paying it off because part of my thing is that like every week I'm putting money from my check in it. So like that's I'm still following the rules. The walking I do with my dog. And then, there's one more? Walking, counting, abstinence, morning pages.
Yeah.
That's it?
Timeouts.
Nope.
He always forgets his timeouts.
I suck so much at the timeouts.
Oh.
So, going into this week, I am like, my promise to myself, I'm going to do at least one a day, and I'm going to hit all 7. And then next week, I'm going to try to do 2-3 times a week, and 1 every day. And we'll see if we can get.
Okay.
And so by week 4, I should be doing it 2 times a day. We also have the one thing that's got to be coming up. The one thing that's coming up is another media deprivation week.
Really? She's gonna do it again?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So we'll talk more about that later.
Oh shit. Okay.
You can also look it up if you want, but yeah.
I have been way off track with morning pages. I did well over 3 pages of poetry today that just occurred to me. Like I started calling my poems after what I'm doing. So I was making coffee. So the poem is called Making Coffee, but it's all about words.
I love that. So much.
And then my other one about death is washing my face.
Jesus.
So I have, I've started
we'll
labeling them, washing my face, making coffee, like that. I kind of love that.
Yeah.
That would be the only aspect of me, because I feel like they just are here and they're just present. So I did 3 pages of poetry writing today. I wrote 2 separate poems. But I haven't done my morning pages.
Okay.
Does poetry writing count as morning pages?
I would count as long as it's 3 pages, yeah.
Yeah, it was well over 3 pages. They're short pages, but hey, they're poems.
Count it. We'll count it.
All right, so I did that. I've been way off track ever since I got sick. I've been off track with morning pages. I got bitten by the why bother bug again.
Yeah.
That's my worst.
She still takes you out. Don't worry. Sorry, Kelly
is licking.
She has been trying
to eat Josh alive.
Me too, guys.
Yum,
Me
yum,
too.
yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. I love
harassed.
this dog so much.
She's
Dog so
adorable.
much. All right, so I didn't do very many morning pages
That's
this
fine.
week. I'm glad that the poems started coming because of morning pages.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're still percolating and joining me as I wash my face and make my coffee. So at least I have that. Then I have been doing the counting. I'm still not a fan of counting.
Yeah.
I think it's creating panic and anxiety for me.
I think maybe, but I also
maybe it's making me deal with shit.
Yeah.
But I can't even look at the good. Looking at the finances, what I have, and I need to take all that and put it in the savings, and when I do, I actually have as much as I started out with.
Yeah.
So why am I getting these anxiety and panic attacks? And so much of that is financial. I gotta say, that's the one thing that really stops me, and I just want to go to bed and hide and never get up again.
Do you know what I think it is?
What?
Success.
I'm scared of success.
No,
I know.
It feels
so
like
fucking true.
It's
I know.
so funny because I feel like that's what it is. Like you're like, oh my god, I have people paying for swim. Okay, swim is paid for. Oh my god,
I'm so fucking afraid.
Yeah,
and I'm really good at teaching. I love teaching. I'm a great instructor. Don't get I'm the best instructor I've ever met. I think I deliver that much and more for whatever they're buying into. It's not that. It's
Yeah.
And,
okay, Gabby. So we're gonna cut Gabby off before she just talks.
I have done my timeouts every day.
Did you do 2 of them?
God damn it, I need it. Yes, yeah. I'm fucking doing the timeouts.
And her abstinence doesn't really matter because
I have money in the bank.
Yep.
And I'm abstaining so much that I have not spent a dime of the swim money yet.
Oh, that's great. What about, and remember, Gabby, that doesn't abstinence doesn't necessarily mean.
Oh yeah,
I guess it would.
Scrimpy miser of an abstinent soul.
No. I think so. Okay, so for swim, that kind of makes sense though.
It does.
Like
it's
not
summer money.
So yeah, that would technically be credit. We'll count that as credit from now on. Okay. So
I have not touched that credit.
Yeah. So that's great.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is there's 2 of the prosperity points that I want to talk about.
Have you taken your walks?
I've
okay. Yeah. Those are easy.
Dog walks. Yeah.
Dog walks.
So I
did not want to walk today.
I wanted to talk about 2 of the prosperity points. One of them is the 3 enough areas that she asked you. She asked you about like 3 areas that you're enough. Gabby, you're enough.
Fuck you! I get to say that. Damn it! I was giving the look. I had it right there.
So, honestly, I said my relationship, my home, and like right now, and gosh, what else did I say? Those are the two that come out right now.
I actually wrote them in my book.
Well, I have them in my notebook here.
The dog ate my books, which literally gave me permission to write in my book.
Yeah.
It's very. I've never written. I don't even highlight in a book. I abstain completely from. It seems like sacrilege, but because the dog did this to my book, now I can write in it, which is kind of great. I gotta say.
I said my So I said my dog, my relationship, my friends, my family, and my home. So my family. It's so funny. I put down my family, and my response is, they're close enough and far enough away.
I actually wrote, okay, so I said, the condo, God's got it. Work, oh, no, those are my, are these my not enoughs? I think these might be.
No, these are, yeah, each entry.
Oh, the God's got it.
Yeah, those are the worries. Those are the worries.
Okay. These are the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This place, kids, Kelly walks, and I can't read that.
Scooter.
Oh my God.
The scooter is enough. I don't need a car.
Yeah.
I really don't need a car. It's enough.
Yeah.
And that's been great for me to realize that the scooter is, that I'm good on a scooter or a bike. That I don't need a gas guzzling, ticket mongering.
What is
anxiety causing
your magic?
My magic?
Yeah, we'll just listen to, because as always, Josh forgot to charge his phone and has to run to work. So we're gonna have to cut it here, just so you guys all know what's going on in our lives. So, talking about magic, like I said, getting Appa was such a magical experience.
Kelly was magical. Yeah, I agree.
I would even say that Appa is more magical because we got him for free on the street in Jersey City. A purebred husky.
Mine came. Yeah. She's a rescue from Austin, so damn it, she's a Democrat from
Texas.
So talk about magic, baby.
Yeah.
I wrote down my magic were all kind of feelings: whimsy, curiosity, warmth. Kelly warmth is magical to me. When she lays down on you and you feel the warmth, beauty, and beauty is all around you. To discover that beauty is literally like, and spring is such a perfect time to discover beauty. The little furls of leaves they look like fairy, like fairy drawings or something. And then you get cherry blossoms too, which of course, I mean, pink snow.
I'm literally just like smiling.
It's cotton candy snow. I mean, beauty is all, beauty, love, and the most magical for me right now is trust, because that's what I'm really struggling with.
So
I'm leaning into that resistance.
You know, a lot of mine were feelings too. It's like the feeling of when a story comes together, like when you're writing it and it like comes together, or a TV show that has like a great plot and like you get so worked up and then it's happy and you're crying. I love that.
Yeah, the culmination. So culmination is magical, but like you hit it with the story too. Creating out of thin air, isn't that? I'm doing this create like a child group, and creating something out of thin air. Stories, words are magical. Words are so fucking magical.
Agreed.
Oh my gosh, that's all I wrote about is the magic of words today.
Yeah.
What we can create. What we can create.
So,
and that is fucking abundance.
And
yes, how to be prosperous.
And that is our show, everybody. Be with the magic.
Be with the magic. I love you, Josh. And yes,
love you, Gabby.
Josh, you are enough.
Aww.
Josh is enough.
So we'll see you all next week. Once again, this is the Shadow Artist Experiment. I am Josh. This is Gabby. There's Kelly right here. So, and we'll see you all next week.
We are now covered in dog hair.
For chapter 3.
But it matches my sweater, so it's okay.
Say bye, Gabby.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Gabby.